This week on ATV News, Mattel redefines Barbie, Texas teenager saves a fellow student's life, and Obama makes two big announcements. I'm Kelly Connor.
And I'm Adina Marks, and this is ATV News.
During a speech at the White House on Friday, President Obama proposed a new law that would require companies with more than 100 employees to report these employees' salaries along with their gender and their race. Commenting on his proposal, Obama said, "The goal is to help businesses who are trying to do the right thing get a clearer picture of how they can ensure their employees are being treated fairly." However, CEOs are criticizing the proposal because companies with wage disparities between genders and races could face lawsuits in the future.
On Tuesday, President Obama banned solitary confinement for incarcerated minors. His prison reform will also give prisoners in cells alone more time outside. The reform is expected to affect around 10,000 inmates. Here's Chris Schneider with latest in entertainment.
I'm Chris Schneider with ATV Entertainment. This week, Paul Kantner, a founding member of the band Jefferson Airplane and its successor Jefferson Starship, died at the age of 74. The band and Kantner were known for influencing the idealism push in the late 1960s. He spent much of his life in his native San Francisco, where he died in the hospital after suffering organ failure. Also this week, the controversy surrounding the apparent lack of diversity in the nomination process for the Academy Awards continued. Last week, the Academy announced major changes to the system for the future, including more women and minorities. Spike Lee, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Will Smith have all announced they will boycott this year's ceremony after the Academy nominated only white actors and actresses for a second year in a row. Fox Searchlight set a new Sundance record this week when it bid $17 million on the riveting slave revolt film Birth of a Nation. The film, written and directed by Nate Parker, attracted bids from other major distributors, including Netflix, before Parker decided to go with Searchlight in an effort to have the film shown in theaters. The film follows Nat Turner, a slave who sparked rebellion in the pre-war South. Finally this week, the political drama hit House of Cards was renewed by Netflix for a 5th season. The show's 4th season, once again starring Kevin Spacey as Frank Underwood and Robin Wright as his wife Claire, premieres on the video streaming service on March 4th. I'm Chris Schneider, and this has been your ATV News Entertainment Report.
On Friday, D.C. Mayor Muriel E. Bowser declared that she has designated more than $82 million from the Housing Production Trust Fund to develop and preserve affordable housing units. Bowser said the allocation would provide for the development of 338 housing units and the preservation of 466 housing units. She predicts that these housing units will shelter 1,700 citizens. During her declaration, Bowser recognized the harsh reality of housing prices in the capital. We all know that housing affordability is one, if not the top issue in the District of Columbia, and everything we do is going to help make more people be able to afford living in Washington, D.C.
A boy in Texas was suspended this week for likely saving a fellow student's life. Anthony Ruelas disobeyed a teacher's order to remain in his seat while a classmate collapsed from a severe asthma attack and instead carried her to the nurse's office. After he was punished for his actions, Ruelas' mother has decided to have him homeschooled.
Now we go to David Alessandrini with our sports report.
The AU men's basketball team looks to continue their winning ways when they match up against Holy Cross on Monday. The men are coming off back-to-back wins, and with a win on Monday, it would be their first 3-game win streak of the season. They're going to need Delonte Jones and Jesse Reed, the team's top 2 scorers, to really step it up if they want to start turning their season around. And the AU girls basketball team is looking to start a new streak of their own at this point in the season. The ladies have lost their last 4 games, but there's still optimisms with games against Bucknell and Lehigh this week. This year's team is leading scoring by junior Lauren Chrysler and senior Michelle Holmes. The game versus Lehigh on Saturday falls on District Day, so there's a reason for the girls to like their chances in that one. And after falling in their last 3 dual meets, AU Wrestling looks to bounce back with a solid showing this week. The team goes up against Binghamton on Friday with a matchup against Lehigh the next morning. This season so far, the best dual meet results have come from David Terrio, who has a perfect 6-0 record. However, the team is really going to need their other classes to pull their weight if they want to win both duels this season. I'm David Alessandrini. Back to you, Kelly.
On January 28th, Mattel released new Barbie dolls with different body shapes. Barbie dolls are popular. 92% of girls in America between age 3 and age 12 have owned one of these dolls. However, sales had begun to drop because consumers were tired of Barbie's unrealistic body shape. As a result, Mattel released these new Barbie dolls with 3 lifelike body shapes: petite, tall, and curvy.
Let's go to Jonathan Shander with our ATV News Finance Report.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Shander, and here's your weekly financial report. Uber said on Friday that it is slashing prices in New York City as rates for Uber X have dropped by 15%. Minimum Uber X fares are now $7 instead of $8, which will make it cheaper than riding in a taxi cab. While good for customer, this new rate is expected to make it tougher on drivers who were having problems with wages before this. Of the money made, 8.875% of the money goes towards sales taxes, with another 20 to 25% of the fare going towards Uber itself. In other news, the effects of the recent snowstorm that hit the East Coast is still being felt. Setting records and paralyzing many major cities, this snowstorm is responsible for the death of at least 48 people. On top of this, the full economic effects are still becoming apparent, with burst pipes and wind damage attributing to millions of dollars in insured losses. Paul Wash from the Weather Channel predicted Monday that the country is going to see a $1 billion impact from this storm in regards to insurance and damage loss perspective. British Petroleum recently announced plans to slash 5% of its global workforce. In total, BP said that it aims to reduce its global oil production as it undergoes a $3.5 billion restructuring program. With a headcount of 80,000 at the end of 2015, BP claimed to be aiming at reducing their numbers by 4,000 to as much as 20,000. They claim that this is due to crude oil prices being at a 12-year low of around $32 a barrel. And finally, the Bank of Japan said on Friday of last week that it will cut the rate of current accounts that commercial banks hold with it to a minus 0.1%. This came with the assurance that the rate would be pushed even lower if needed. This will essentially mean that people keeping money with the bank will be charged to do so, losing money in the process. This is being done in the hopes that it will encourage banks to lend more to consumers and for consumers to save less and spend more. This has been Jonathan Shander with your weekly financial report.
Now we go to Sarah Camerata in the latest in politics.
Hi, I'm Sarah Camerata with your weekly ATV Politics Report. On Thursday, the Republican presidential candidates took the stage at the last GOP debate before the Iowa caucuses, except one. For months, Donald Trump has had a personal feud with Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly due to what Trump says Kelly's unfair questioning in the first Republican debate. Days before the debate on Thursday, Trump demanded Fox remove Kelly from the panel. However, Fox refused, and Mr. Trump declared he would not be attending the debate. Without what Megyn Kelly said the elephant in the room, Thursday was a relatively tame debate compared to the others. Rubio and Cruz shot back and forth at who is the more trustworthy conservative. The exchange centered on immigration, like most of the disputes between the two lately. Bush also pressed Rubio on his immigration record, with Rubio's change of heart on the immigration bill. Republicans also looked to discredit Hillary Clinton, who, on Friday, was the center of breaking news. The State Department acknowledged for the first time that top-secret information has been found in emails that passed through Clinton's private email server. The information was contained in 22 emails across 7 email chains. I'm Sarah, and this has been your ATV Politics Report.
AU College of Arts and Sciences created a Department of Health Studies this past October in response to an increase in health-related majors. The university already has around 400 students in programs related to health. Stacy Snelling, chair of the new department, hopes it will be able to provide more support and resources to students in these programs.
Now we go to Casey Wexler with the Residence Hall Association's budget.
This Thursday, the Residence Hall Association approved their spring budget. The RHA has a budget of about $50,000 a semester, $64,000 this spring. And a good portion of that money will go to paying off their deficit. The RHA actually has a substantial deficit.
The deficit is previously from approximately 5 years ago from a former VP of Administration and Finance that spent over the budgeted amount that RHA was allocated. So we are just dealing with the repercussions that have happened years ago.
Luckily, those repercussions should not last much longer.
This year it started around 15,000 was still left. We have started to bring that down under 10,000 with revenue from Beyond the Wall poster sale that was during Welcome Week, and from the My Favorite Student care packages that RHA provides.
For more information about the RHA's budget, please visit the RHA website. Their budget is available under Archives. For ATV News, this is Casey Wexler reporting.
I'm surprised that the Residence Hall Association has such a deficit, but hopefully, since our housing payments are so large, they'll be able to get it back up.
They do seem to be working rather hard. Here's Eric Haggis with our World News Report.
On Friday, Iran claimed it flew a drone over a U.S. aircraft carrier as a part of an ongoing naval drill. The U.S. Navy confirmed an unarmed Iranian drone flew directly over the USS Truman on January 12th, but they did not specify whether videos on Iranian state TV were from that incident. That happened the same day that 10 U.S. sailors were captured by the Iranian Navy. The drone also flew over a French aircraft carrier. Both ships were in international waters in the Persian Gulf. A Navy spokesman said that the drone posed no danger to either ship. This incident came a week before the U.S. and European nations lifted sanctions on Iran as a part of the nuclear agreement, which has put extra scrutiny on Iran's military actions. ISIS continues to expand its attacks outside of Iraq and Syria, with over 60 attacks in 20 countries. These attacks have killed at least 1,200 people and injured more than 1,700 others. On Monday, ISIS released a video that purportedly shows final messages from the Paris attackers. The attack on Paris had the highest death toll of any Islamic State attack outside of the Middle East and Africa. Europe is still trying to finalize plans to accept the Syrian refugees. Many countries in continental Europe have seen large numbers of refugees passing through to get to the UK and Scandinavian countries. Sweden has slowed down the number of refugees admitted and recently rejected 80,000 asylum applications. Britain has similarly restricted its resettlement program as it negotiates with the EU. For ATV World News, I'm Eric Haggis.
This week, the World Health Organization has held meetings for the purpose of discussing the Zika virus, a disease that spreads through mosquito bites and causes fever, rash, and pink eye. Even though the virus has existed for decades, WHO is interested in developing a vaccine for it now because it is causing birth defects. In fact, nations such as Brazil have even cautioned women about becoming pregnant because of how rapidly Zika is spreading, especially in Latin America. Here's Yukar Nakayama with our weather report.
This is Yukari Nakayama with your ATV News weather report. Last weekend, Winter Storm Jonas hit D.C. with over 2 feet of snow, prompting D.C. government officials to shut down the government. As we approach next week, we can expect to see temperatures rise beginning Monday with a high of 59 to Wednesday with a high of 63. Temperatures will drop beginning Thursday to Saturday with lows of between 46 and 41 degrees. Temperatures will rise again on Sunday with a high of 46. This has been Yukari Nakayama with your ATV News weather report.
Thanks, Yukari. One of 3 escaped prison inmates in California was apprehended Friday. Bok Du-wong reportedly approached someone on the street in Santa Ana and said he wanted to turn himself in. The other 2 escapees are still at large. Let's go to Jill Cameron and find out what the latest with What's Up AU.
What's up AU? I'm Jill Cameron and here's what's happening on campus. If your stress is high from the start of the semester, stop by Katz Museum on Wednesday, February 2nd at 10 a.m. for a relaxing yoga session with certified yoga instructor Eva Blottinger. The cost is $10. Please bring your own mat. On Thursday, February 4th, Peruvian ambassador to the United States, Dr. Luis Miguel Castilla, will be at SIS to discuss the Latin American perspective of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Castilla will be in the Abraham Family Founders Room from 4 to 5:30 p.m. Also on Thursday, Katzen Art Center is hosting an alumni music ensemble featuring musicians from AU's past. The event is free and will start at 7 p.m. in the Abramson Family Recital Hall. That's all for this week. I'm Jill Cameron. Tune in next time to see What's Up with AU.
Thanks, Jill. So there have been a lot of very interesting people visiting campus recently.
Especially with the Bill Nye event next week.
I'm so excited to see Bill Nye next week. When I was in middle school, we used to watch his TV show all the time.
Us too.
Did you get tickets to the show?
No, I didn't manage, but I also heard that the comedy show last week was excellent.
Me too. I didn't have a chance to go, but I did hear that SNL cast member Vanessa Bayer was there and very funny.
This has been all for ATV News. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'm Medina Marks.
And I'm Kelly Connor.